since a military takeover in March 2012 and the subsequent insurgency in the north of the country.
According to a final statement issued by ECOWAS, dialogue remains the preferred option for West African states. Still, what was finalized in Abuja was a military plan. West African leaders decided that resorting to force was indispensable to put an end to the occupation of Mali. There will be 3,300 troops in total who will be supporting the 5,000 Malian forces, the forces who are on the front lines in accordance with the wishes of the Malian authorities. ECOWAS will not wait for the UN's green light to launch its intervention. The plan will nevertheless be examined in New York on the 26th of November. The troops will be made up mainly of Malian soldiers and the force will operate under Malian command. The military base for the operation will be located at several dozen kilometers from Bamako. There are no more obstacles, there are no more problems. We all agree that this is what has to be done. We know who are the enemies and who are the forces with whom we can unite. A meeting will be held in Paris on Thursday to determine the extent of European support. If everything goes according to plan, about 200 officers will be sent over, mainly for training purposes.
Israeli aircraft attacked targets in Gaza overnight in a sudden intensification of violence in the region. The Israeli military said it has hit a weapon storage facility and a tunnel used by insurgents. It says that more than 110 rockets fired by Palestinian militants have hit Israel since Saturday, triggering a strong military response. As CNN Sarah Sidna reports, it is a seemingly endless cycle of violence.
The broken bodies of Israeli soldiers after an anti-tank missile slams into their Jeep. The military says the Jeep was on the Israeli side of the Gaza border. 4 soldiers are injured, 2 severely with shrapnel wounds to the head. The missile came from inside Hamas-controlled Gaza. Israel responded with tank fire.
I can confirm and tell you that when we retaliated fire from the ground and only from the ground after the Jeep was hit, it was in order to prevent additional hits either to IDF soldiers in the area or to our communities in the area, since there are quite a few communities in that area.
This is the aftermath of the Israeli response. Gaza officials say Israeli artillery shells hit a funeral home and a residence. More than 24 civilians are wounded. 4 are killed. 3 of the 4 are teenagers. The family of 2 dead teenagers began cursing the Israelis. Damn them and let them burn in hell to get rid of them all at once, she says. While families grieved in Gaza, militants fired more than 75 missiles into Israel, according to the Israeli military. An Israeli home is spattered with shrapnel, a building damaged, and 4 Israeli civilians wounded. These are not simple days. They're very difficult days. We're trying to restrain ourselves, he says. Israel responded to the rocket attacks with 2 airstrikes, targeting weapons and killing 2 militants. The latest escalation between Gaza and Israel seemed like it would get worse before it got better early Sunday evening, with leaders from both sides promising retaliation.
The resistance will continue shelling as a response to the Zionist crimes until the occupying forces pay a heavy price for their continued aggression.
The IDF is striking and will continue to strike the terrorist organizations in the Gaza Strip. Terrorist organizations are facing grave setbacks at the hands of the IDF. The world must understand that Israel will not sit idly against the attempts of Hamas. We are ready to intensify the reaction.
The surge in violence comes after the killing of a 13-year-old Palestinian boy Thursday while he was playing soccer outside his home. Witnesses there say he was shot by Israeli soldiers. Israel is investigating, but so far has denied any role in his death. On that same day, in the same area closer to the border fence, Hamas detonated explosives that were part of a huge cache discovered by Israeli soldiers earlier. injuring one of the soldiers. On both sides of the border, civilians want a solution that ends not just this battle, but the long, drawn-out conflict. But no one believes that will happen anytime soon. Sarah Seidner, CNN, Jerusalem.
We now shift our attention to the weather report, courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without ceasing. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Good evening, and once again it's a warm welcome to the weather segment, beginning with a summary of the weather due the day today, followed by our forecast. The Gambia this afternoon experienced a warm, humid and sunny afternoon. For what will follow, let's start with a look at the satellite image captured at 16:30 hours, indicating the presence of medium-level clouds across parts of the Gulf of Guinea states over the central and the southern part of the continent. The northern areas were mainly dry and stable during the period. For our forecast tonight, we're expecting conditions over the Gambia to be partly cloudy and warm. It will be mainly warm and sunny, and winds will continue to be northeasterly in orientation, but generally light to moderate in speed. Morning temperature values will be 24 degrees Celsius over Banjul and Ndum, and the rest of the Gambia will record 23 degrees Celsius tomorrow morning. Top temperatures will be 33 degrees Celsius over Banjul. Ndum, Kerawan will be 34 degrees Celsius warm. The rest of the country will be 35 degrees Celsius tomorrow afternoon. We are expecting low tides of 0.21 meters at 2:45 a.m. and 0.05 meters at 3 minutes past 3 p.m. High tides will be 1.75 meters at 8:50 a.m. and 1.87 meters at 9:24 p.m. The sun will rise at 4 minutes past 7 o'clock in the morning and will set at 18:35. We thank you for being with us and do have a very good night. Round of applause.
Thank you, Yasin. And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. The Minister of Agriculture has opened a 4-day regional forum on the operations of the International Fund for Agricultural Development in West and Central Africa. Members of the National Assembly Select Committee on Education, Training and ICT have concluded a 6-day tour of a number of regional schools. West African leaders have agreed to dispatch 3,300 troops into Mali to flush out Tuareg rebels and Islamist fighters from the north of the country. And Israeli fighter jets have attacked targets in the Gaza Strip in response to the firing of homemade rockets into Israel by Palestinian militants. That brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned and enjoy a range of interesting programs. And I'm Fatou Sane Sise. Bye for now.